हेलो दोस्तों, मैं हूं दिनेश केवरा न्यूज टाइम के ऊपर। दोस्तों, हम इस चैनल के ऊपर कुछ प्रोग्राम्स ऐसे स्पेशल करते हैं जो वास्तव में अद्भुत होते हैं, अनोखे होते हैं, डिफरेंट होते हैं। आज ये प्रोग्राम जो स्पेशल हो रहा है लाइव इस वक्त, जबकि हिंदुस्तान में 9:30 बजे हैं, ये बांग्लादेश के ऊपर है। स्पेशल लाइव शो इसलिए है कि आज हमारे साथ एक ऐसी शख्सियत मौजूद है जो बांग्लादेश से है बट बेस्ड इन अमेरिका। मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि इस प्रोग्राम के अंदर आज हम कुछ ऐसे मुद्दों को उठाने जा रहे हैं जो वहां के डेमोक्रेटिक एवोल्यूशन के बारे में है, विमेन एम्पावरमेंट के बारे में है, फॉरेन रेमिटेंसेज या पॉपुलेशन कंट्रोल के बारे में है, या गर्ल्स एजुकेशन के बारे में है। ऑलमोस्ट एवरी डे we are doing the programs on Bangladesh or in the South Asia, so my viewers are well aware that yes, we do conduct such kind of talk shows also. Today, we have got a very special personality with us, and she is Miss Rifat Binte Lutful. You are welcome into this show, Miss Rifat. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you so much.
Fantastic. So kind of you that you have graced our show here on the News Time. And let me introduce my guest. She is the doctoral candidate doing her PhD in the University of Delaware, United States of America, in the political science and international relations. She has done her first master's from the University of Akron. She is a bachelor from the Dhaka University, non-resident fellow of the US India Policy Institute. Then she has done the research in the security studies, democratization, and comparative politics of developing countries and policies of South Asia, and her research has been published many times. You are welcome, Ms. Rifat, on the show.
Um, Thank you so much.
It's
Thank
it's
you.
always it's always a pleasure talking to a citizen of Bangladesh who's doing the higher education in the USA, that too in the South Asian studies. And I believe in the University of Delaware, you're doing a fantastic job for yourself also, for your family, and for your countrymen also. So I believe your countrymen are proud of you.
Thank you.
Ms. Rifat, uh, today we'll be talking on the issues of, as I told you, how the Bangladesh evolved, the democratic evolution, and some of the issues related to the population control, girls' education, and some other things. Without asking any question, I'll first ask you very first thing, what's your first comment on this show about when we are talking about the democratic evolution in Bangladesh in last many decades since independence in 1971?
Uh, I think it's a very good initiative. Um, I actually I didn't know about your channel until like a month ago. But when I got to know, and I get very surprised. Like you were making so many episodes on Bangladesh, and people get to know so much about Bangladesh just from streaming your show. And I'm feeling very fortunate to become a part of your show. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk in your show. So today, I'm going to talk about the democratic evolution of Bangladesh, and I will also talk briefly about the development contributed by each government since independence.
That's great.
Okay, so after the independence, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman became the Prime Minister of Bangladesh in 1972. So the constitution was ratified. Nationalism, socialism, democracy, secularism, they were recognized as the four fundamental principles of the constitution. So in 1974, so Bangladesh joined the United Nations, and the same year we have seen the deadliest famine struck in Bangladesh. So many people died during that famine, and also between 1973 to 1975, many organizational reforms were happened to activate the family planning services in the rural areas. So in 1975, the Awami League government introduced a one-party state and a presidential government. And the same year, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman was assassinated, along with most of his family. So pro-Pakistani army officers and some politicians, they were behind the assassination.
Okay.
So after the assassination of Sheikh Mujib, Khondakar Mushtaq Ahmed became the president of Bangladesh, and previously he was acted as the minister of the Ministry of Commerce under the third Sheikh Mujib cabinet. So he was replaced by a coup during the same year. Then Abu Sadat Muhammad Saim, who was the Chief Justice of Bangladesh from 1972 to 1975, became the President of Bangladesh and held the power until 1977. Um, Remittance income from migrant workers is the second highest foreign currency income of Bangladesh. So in 1976, during the Siam government, the export of manpower from Bangladesh has been started manually, formally. In that year, 14,000 people migrated to the Middle East for employment, and they had sent like 5 crore USD remittance to Bangladesh. In 1976, the first.
One question I would like to ask here:
Mhm,
when Bangladesh became independent,
mhm.
that time how much foreign exchange it had got? I think it must be like peanuts only, or Pakistan may not have left anything in the treasury of the Bangladesh at that time. Maybe in the Pakistani rupee form, or maybe in the foreign currency. I don't think much was left in the treasury as
Yeah,
far
yeah.
as the Bangladesh is concerned in 1971 when they become independent. Am I
Yeah,
right?
yeah, 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 yeah. You are absolutely right. There was nothing there. Like everything started from zero. So
Yeah.
it was just the beginning in the 1976. Like we have seen formally, the export of manpower started.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So
Carry on now.
thank you. In 1976, the first population policy of Bangladesh was formulated. So during that time, the rate of population growth was about 3% per year. So the government declared that
This 3% was in 1972,
76.
70. But this is quite good, I think, 3%, I believe so.
Um, Bangladesh is not a big land. It's a very
Yeah.
small land. So it's a overpopulated country. Um, you can say 3% is good, but if you compare it with the land, it's not good. You
Ah,
know what I meant? Like it's not like a big country like India, right? Uh, so the government declared that the population control was the number one priority for the country, and since then, Bangladesh has achieved success in limiting fertility rate to a medium level. So the government adopted a community-based approach, recruited educated village women, trained them in family planning, and sent them door to door to educate people.
okay.
So in 1977, Abu Sadat Muhammad Saim was replaced by Major General Ziaur Rahman,
Hmm.
who was the Chief of Army Staff.
Sorry.
Uh, so from 1975 to till now, all the governments in Bangladesh have used Islam to boost their legitimacy. So the military governments of the country during 1970s and 1980s took steps to Islamize the society.
Okay.
In 1977, President Jia captured power, and to gain political legitimacy, he amended the fundamental principles of the constitution. So he Islamized the country and he removed the word secularism from the constitution and substituted it with absolute trust and faith in the Almighty Allah. And
Hmm.
additionally, he inserted Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim in the preamble of the constitution, and he created the political party named Bangladesh Nationalist Party in
Okay.
1978.
BNP, which is popularly known as.
Yes, that
Okay.
that get founded in 1978.
Okay.
So Rahman focused on supporting the agricultural and industrial production sector, and he introduced several rural development programs, including Food for Work program. So his government minimized restrictions on agriculture and industrial activities, and his government started several projects to build irrigation canals, power stations, dams, and roads. So he strengthened the military and bureaucracy and improved the law and order condition of the country. So Ziaur Rahman was assassinated in 1981 in a military coup. After Zia's assassination, General Ershad captured power and experienced a similar legitimacy crisis. So
Mm-hmm.
he created the political party named the Jatiya Party and further Islamized the country. So he announced that no law would be passed which is contrary to the Quran and Sunnah. And he made Arabic as the mandatory subject in the school. And
Okay.
his government patronized peers and imams of the mosques. He regularly visited shrines and mosques and donated handsome money to these institutions. So he criticized many Bengali cultures and argued that Bengali culture needs to be replaced by Islamic culture. So
Okay.
in 1988, he declared Islam as the state religion of the country.
Mm.
So we know about the Grameen Bank, right? So Grameen Bank was founded in 1983. That was during the Ershad's regime by Dr. Muhammad Yunus. We
Yes.
know later Grameen Bank and Muhammad Yunus received Nobel Prize in
Nobel Prize also.
2006
Yes.
for
Yes.
its microcredit program that helped
Yes.
to reduce poverty. But it
Yes.
founded during the Ershad's regime. I just wanted to mention that.
Okay.
Okay. So to accelerate the economic growth, many structural adjustment and reform programs were introduced during Ershad's regime. The government invested in rural road construction. By the 1985, we have seen that there was a good network of roads that connected the medium-sized cities to larger cities. For example, capital Dhaka to the port city Chittagong. However, the road interlinked with the villages, those are not up to the mark, and they gradually transformed between 1988 to 1997. So the Ershad regime also liberalized agricultural markets and eliminated restrictions on importing palms and diesel engines. This regime privatized the distribution and imports of fertilizers, and the government also introduced policies to boost garment industries. So, consequently, the garment sector benefited greatly, mainly the garment workers. They were from rural areas, which made a large infusion of funds to rural countryside. However, during the late 1980s, the country's overall economy was not very good. It was not up to the mark, and there was violent anti government demonstration in the country. So finally, Ershad stepped down, and the caretaker government took the power, and the parliamentary elections were held. So BNP formed the government, and Khalda Zia, the widow of Ziaur Rahman, she became the prime minister. And Sheikh Hasina, the daughter of Sheikh Mujibur Rahman and the leader of the Awami League, became the main opposition leader of the country.
Okay.
So BNP formed the government in 1991, and to prove that they support Islamic groups, so they allied with the Islamic political party named Jamaat-e Islami.
Mm-hmm.
And during their term, BNP failed to control the traditional village courts and let the mullahs, who were so-called holy men, let the mullahs administer those traditional village courts.
Okay.
So during Khaldazia's tenure, um, we have also seen a cyclone hit Bangladesh in 1991, which killed approximately 130,000 people.
My God.
Yeah. So in 1991, there was a slight decline in migration of workers. The Gulf War of 1991 could be the reason. Uh, but Bangladesh supported the anti Iraq alliance during the war. Consequently, the Middle East rewarded Bangladesh by taking record number of migrant workers in the following 2 years. That means the number increased in 1992 and 1993.
Okay.
To improve the school enrollment for girls, the government introduced
I'll
female.
just ask a question in between.
Mhm.
When there was Islamization of the constitution and the government acts also. There were substantial number of minorities in Bangladesh at that time also, and still
Mhm.
they are right now.
Mhm.
They constituted the Hindus and Christians also, I believe. How they had reacted in that social structure at that time,
So I think during the 1991,
or maybe prior to that one even.
um, so obviously they were restricted, but it actually highlighted more after 2001. Uh, before
Because I
to,
personally believe Bangladesh culture is a composite culture, and Hindu, Christians,
yeah,
Muslims,
yeah,
all are together and they are one and they speak one language. Similar kind of food and similar kind of traditions are there. Their icons are also similar actually. So at the
yeah, yeah,
ground level, they are one actually.
yeah,
They're
yeah. So
due to their composite culture, they are one. So did they feel alienated in that particular structure when too much Islamization was there?
So personally, I think since 90% people are Muslim, so all the government they always feel like they need to take some steps so that the people think they support the Muslims.
Okay.
But like like general people, I don't think they really care who is Muslim, who is Hindu. They have like they they have much more friendships between them, but from the political from if you see from the political lens, because in 1980s and 1970s it was the military government, right? So
Yeah.
they are not elected government, so
Yeah.
they always have the urgency to show their legitimacy, like since they are not elected, they think we have to do something so that people find us legitimate, so they were Islamizing the country. um, but uh, but general people, I don't think they think like that.
I think
At,
your research is in this subject, democratization process and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
political process and how Bangladesh got evolved from the 1971 onwards. I think
Yeah,
this is your research
yeah.
subject also in the University of Delaware in the USA where
Yes.
you are doing it actually. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think that's why democracy is very important, because when you are democratically elected government, you don't need that. You don't need to prove that you are legitimate. You don't need to do something extra, like to prove that you are with the majority people of the country. That's why democracy, I think, is important for any country.
I think you are talking about you started to talk about the girl education there just
Yeah, yeah.
when I interjected in between. You can
Yeah.
continue from that one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So, to improve the school enrollment for girls, the government introduced female secondary school assistance project, and the program provided stipends and tuition waivers to students. So, during Khalda's regime, we have seen many food assisted programs. The Food for Education program also started during 1993-1994. The poor families would send their children to school and they would receive food in return. And it enabled the poor families to let their children free from livelihood obligatory work and send their children to attend primary school. So, in February 1996, a controversial general election was held, and the BNP won the election. However, due to public pressure, Khaleda Zia resigned after the election. Another election was held under the supervision of the caretaker government, and Sheikh Hasina, the head of the Awami League, became the prime minister. So Awami League formed the government in 1996, and also they actually initially allied with the Jamaat-e Islami, but however that alliance broke later. So the Awami League during its regime made good relation with India and signed a treaty for sharing the water from the Ganges River. And the army government also made an agreement with Chittagong Hill Tract guerrillas who were seeking greater autonomy for the indigenous people. So, due to the agreement, the guerrillas of the Chittagong Hill Tract surrendered their arms after the 20 years of insurgency. During this regime, we have also seen the Food for Education program, which started during Khaleda's regime, now covered 17,403 schools during Hasina's regime. That means 2.3 million students were covered under the program during the
The
1990s.
girls' education has really progressed and grown beautifully in Bangladesh in
Yeah,
various regimes, I would say rather.
yeah.
And I had done a lot of episodes on Bangladesh and particularly on the education also. Particularly, I get peeved at the level of higher education because research and development is at very low level there, and more so with the girls actually. Rifat, being a girl, doing a PhD, you're an iconic figure and you're an inspiration for many, many Bangladeshi girls, I tell you. That a girl from Dhaka University is moving to USA, University of Delaware, and doing your PhD. So you are an icon because not many girls reach the level of PhD, let me tell you, the doctoral studies. Would you like to give a small message to the girls of Bangladesh in Bangla language that why they should study and do proud of their families and country? Give a message in Bangla. I will understand that one. Don't worry. I don't know Bengali much, but I can make out from this one. Give a message to the girls of Bangladesh, young girls who want to grow and reach higher levels in the research. What is your message for them?
ওকে, আমি আসলে জানি না আমি আইকন কিনা, বাট আমার আসলে ছোটবেলা থেকে ইচ্ছা ছিল যে আমি বড় হয়ে পিএইচডি করব, বা আমার ফিউচার অ্যাম্বিশন ছিল আই ওয়ান্টেড টু বি এ প্রফেসর, অ্যান্ড আই লাইকড পলিটিক্যাল সায়েন্স, দ্যাটস ওয়াই আই চোজ দিস সাবজেক্ট। সো সো ইফ ইউ হ্যাভ অ্যাম্বিশন, লাইক ইফ তুমি যদি হতে চাও, তাহলে আই 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 থিঙ্ক ইউ শুড ফলো ইউর ড্রিম। Like it could be PhD or any other occupation or profession. Like it doesn't
Keep talking
matter.
in Bangla for 2-3 minutes. No, no issue. Give your message in Bangla. I'll understand that one.
So আমার মনে হয় যে বাংলাদেশে আসলে অনেক কিছু চাপায় দেওয়া হয় আমাদের ফ্যামিলি থেকে, যে বলা হয় যে তোমার এটাই হতে হবে, এটাই করতে হবে, বাট যদি আসলে নিজের এইমটা ঠিক থাকে, তাহলে আমার মনে হয় যে আমি যা করতে চাই, যা হতে চাই, সেটা হওয়া সম্ভব যদি আসলে আমার লক্ষ্যটা ঠিক থাকে এবং আমি যদি ওইভাবে পরিশ্রমটা করি। শুধু লক্ষ্য থাকলে হবে না, আমার ওই লক্ষ্য অর্জনের জন্য আসলে চেষ্টাও করতে হবে। চেষ্টাটাও যেন থাকে। তো ফ্যামিলি সাপোর্টও যদি সাথে পাওয়া যায় তাহলে অসাম। তাহলে ইনশাল্লাহ হবে। মানে হোপটা থাকতে হবে। আমি আর কি বলবো, আমি নিজেই আসলে এখনো পিএইচডি কমপ্লিট করি নাই, আমি জাস্ট ক্যান্ডিডেট, বাট আমার আসলে হাই হোপ আছে যে কেউ, আমি এটা বিশ্বাস করি যে কেউ চাইলে পারবে, চাইতে হবে, ট্রাইও করতে হবে।
That's very very nice feel. I can understand the way you are speaking and with emotions, and your message is going across to the uh, many people in Bangladesh also right now through this live telecast here. So that's an inspiration for thousands and lakhs of girls, those who aspire, those who are dreaming, दे वांट टू डू समथिंग, उनका क्या कहते हैं एक ड्रीम होता है, एक सपना होता है कुछ बनने का, तो वो आप जो बोल रहे हैं वो उनके लिए एक इंस्पिरेशन है, उनके लिए एक मोटिवेशन है। तो
Thank you. You are very generous in your comments.
see, we always, this is a channel which is extremely positive and productive as far as, and pleasant also, as far as our comments are concerned, our thinking is concerned, not just about, say, Bangladesh, but other neighboring countries also. Our objective is peace, love, and harmony, so that the people can live with these three mottos: peace, love, and harmony. They can integrate, they can come together, they can exchange their views. Ultimately, at one time we were one only, and we are still one. Culture wise, we are not different. Actually, we are still same, we think same, our food habits are almost similar, clothing are same, festivals are also same, and we celebrate everything in India also, and Bangladesh also, and other countries also. So in many ways, this is a, you can say, confluence of many cultures in this land, in the South Asia. So we appreciate that one, and we also appreciate the how people think and how people actually celebrate in their own so-called regions, this region or that region. That doesn't make a difference. So anything else you want to say about the girls' education? What the governments have done, Rifat?
I think that's it for the Hasina's regime. But I also wanted to add the second phase of the population policy of Bangladesh that started in 1997 and continued to the present. And also, large number of people migrated from Bangladesh in 1999.
Okay.
So that's all about Hasina's regime in 1996 to 2001. So BNP again came to power in 2001. During this term, BNP and its alliance Jamaat, they played a significant role in restricting the Hindu minority people of the country. And also, Jamatul Mujahidin Bangladesh (JMB), it was a notorious Islamic terrorist group. This group became active during this regime, and this group was actually founded in 1998. So later, JMB bombed many cultural programs of the country, arguing that the Bengali cultural programs are inconsistent with the value of Islam. So later, the GMB member were detained by the government because there was a huge media pressure, and due to the media pressure, the government had to detain the GMB members. In
Uh,
2000, yeah,
Carry on, carry on.
in
Complete it.
2006, both BNP and the Awami League, they made alliances to win the election. So BNP made a four-party alliance and the Awami League made a grand alliance. But from 2006 to 2008, Bangladesh was ruled by the caretaker government. In 2007, both Khaleda and Hasina were arrested by the caretaker government. The charges against Khaleda was the corruption, and the charges against Hasina were extortion. So both were released from custody in 2008. So in 2009, Awami League formed the government and has been ruling the government till now. In 2010, the government set a tribunal to try war crimes cases from the 1971 War of Independence. So the tribunal tried several Jamaati Islami leaders, and in 2013, Jamaati Islami has been banned from participating in election. In 2011, the Awami League government abolished the caretaker system, which means general elections will held under the elected partisan governments, not under the caretaker system. In the same year, the 15th Amendment of the Constitution that restored secularism as a fundamental principle of a state policy. However, at the same time, Islam was retained as a state religion.
Okay. That was a quite a big change
Yeah,
in many ways. That Islam will remain as a religion, but it will be a secular country. So
yeah,
that's what we always talk about. That it's a different kind of combination in Bangladesh. It's
yeah,
a Islam as a state religion also, plus secularism also as fundamental of the constitution there itself.
Yes.
And then, of course, when Awami League came and Sheikh Hasina came, there has been a lot of things happening in last 1 decade. However, there has been some topsy-turvy things politically, there is no doubt. But coming to the fag end of the topic right now, what kind of infrastructural changes happened in the last 1 or 2 decades, starting from the, you can say, 2000 onwards, where the real progress of Bangladesh began actually. Prior to that one, the infrastructure was very poor and maybe it was not up to the mark right from 71 to 2000. But 2000 onwards, there had been a paradigm shift as far as infrastructure is concerned. Then Padma Bridge is coming, Rupur nuclear power plant is coming, your Karnafuri tunnel is coming, highways are coming, metros are coming, Mongla port and Paira port has progressed. Chittagong port had expanded now with the capacity, and there had been a kind of integration through the highways and some other kind of infrastructure projects. Then the power centers came, garment factories came, then jute and the leather industry, they flourished. There had been integration of the highways from the various, you can say, the southern part and northern part, eastern part, and things were becoming or looking good, maybe after 2000 onwards, in the last 20 years, as far as infrastructure is concerned. And maybe another 5 years time, uh, you will be absolutely most modern, you can say, country as far as infrastructure is concerned. That's how I feel, the way I have presented so far.
You
So
actually summarized it for me. So you did it very good because the economy is right now doing very good. That's why the infrastructure development is also doing good. We know the GDP growth rate of Bangladesh increased. So the GDP growth, as far as I remember, in 2017 it was 7.28%. In 2018, 7.86%, 2019, 8.15%, 2020, 2.38%. So GDP is going high. So the economy is going high, and consequently the infrastructure development is also very good. Also recently we have heard about the Padma bridges, and there are many highways and roads that are developing all over the countries. So the infrastructure development is happening the way it should be.
uh, coming to the last part, I have got many more issues to talk about, but for that one, I'll invite you once again in the upcoming weeks for the talks again. And this part belongs to the people who are aspiring for the higher education,
Mhm.
particularly in Bangladesh, whether girl students or boy students. I had noticed that apart from Dhaka University, some other private universities are also there. And one or two vice chancellor of your private universities have appeared on my talk shows from Bangladesh,
Mhm.
actually. So
Okay.
I know something about them. But as far as research and development is concerned, it is not up to the classic levels.
Mhm.
And still, people have to leave the shows to go to the quality institutions like you are there in University of Delaware. What exactly can be done to improve the, you can say, academic levels at that level where the research takes place? How you can inspire the people there? What exactly the steps the government should take to inspire the higher education, particularly the research and development? What can be done? What
So
is your advice to the people there?
I think government should provide more funding to the universities for their research work. You need fund to work. For example, in the University of Delaware, I have never faced a crisis of fund. I never had to think of from where I would get the money to do this research. Like my department always helped me. So I think in our universities the students do not get that flexibility, and the professors do not have that flexibility. I remember when I was doing my bachelor in the Dhaka University, so in my section we had 141 students. Like there are two sections, the another section has I think 120 students, but there are no teaching assistant. So one professor had to grade like 141 tests, their exams, and their assignments. So if a professor spends so much time on grading the students' papers, when would he get he or she gets time to do the research, right? So you need time to do the research. You need money to do the research. I don't know exactly how much money they get
I think
provided from
more
the
more
university.
international faculties and students are also required to create a
Yeah, yeah,
balance like it happens in New Zealand or Australia or USA or Britain or some other countries, because there has to be balance. There has to be more intake of so-called foreign faculties as well as foreign students also,
yes,
so that
yes,
there is a
yes.
healthy mix, there is the internationalism there, and which will bring the dynamism into the research and development. Of course,
Yeah,
funding is very essential, but with the funding, what is also needed is a change of mind, and change of mind is also required to upgrade the Dhaka University, which is barely into say around the 1,000 ranking in the world somewhere around. And when you compare it with the US universities like this one where you are right now, University of Delaware, or maybe the some of the top level top notch colleges there, something like you can say Harvard or the Wharton, the Kellogg's, and some other institutes, MIT is also there. India has got some IITs and IIMs which are also top ranked right now. So there has to be the integration of or intake of more international students and faculties also, so that the levels can also go up at the higher level. And that's
yeah,
must, I believe, that's the necessity there, Ms. Rifat. Am I right?
yeah, yeah. I think you know about Bose particle, right? The
Yes.
Bose is from the physics department of the
Yes.
University of Dhaka, and
I
now
know.
the
I know. I know.
so
Bos-
it's like
Boson is also there.
boson. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yes. I know it.
So
I'm a
so
faculty. That's why I'm talking.
yeah. So you know
I teach
well.
MBA classes.
Okay, that's great. So it's like for at the present time, I would say like we have so many talents, but we need also um, we need help from the government. It could be through the funds, it could be through the research opportunities. Like the government should also provide funds to make a good lab where professors can buy instruments for their experiments. And there should be more research assistants, more teaching assistant job. There should be like more professors, and they should also hire the international professors. They should also um, increase the stipends for the students, and they should make the program lucrative so that the foreign students would also want to come here. And as you said, like the culture would assimilate and it would be benefited more. I think
It's
I
miles to travel. It's miles to travel for the South Asian universities to reach there. And one
okay.
question was here, Mr. Sakib Thakur. He said, "Hello, do you think that Bangladesh can beat Vietnam in ready-made garments?" It's already above the Vietnam as far as my figures are concerned. Last year, Vietnam has crossed the Bangladesh in ready-made garment exports and had become number two, but slightly, just I think 0.2% or something like. But I think Bangladesh this year has again overtaken Vietnam as far as exports are concerned in ready-made garments, not overall. I am talking. So,
Mhm.
Sakib, your question is very right. We appreciate. And one more was there, Silati American. Okay. Dinesh sir, the brain drain is a big problem for both India and Bangladesh. 3 million skilled Indians. US spends 500 billion a year. India barely 10 billion. And Dhaka University just 8 crore taka, where scientists like Bose taught. That's fantastic. Well, there is a difference there is a huge, you can say, the distance to be traveled by the so-called South Asian universities. To of course some of the Indian universities have reached there already. Indian Institute of Science is there, IITs are there, which are of international class. But in particularly in Pakistan and Bangladesh and Nepal, I think the universities have to, I think, do a lot of things, I think, to reach international level. And a lot of hard work is needed, a lot of dedication and commitment will be required, a lot of funding will be required. I think a because multiple set of efforts will be required to improve the university systems in Bangladesh or Nepal or in Pakistan, even in India and many of the universities which are absolutely laggards actually. So in many ways, still we have to travel miles actually to reach there. There is no doubt. Well, with these words, any last comment, Ms. Rifat, for our people? You can say in Bangla right now. It's a new year. You can wish them a new year. You can say Happy New Year at least in Bangla.
আম সবাইকে নতুন বছরের অনেক, অনেক শুভেচ্ছা। সবাই ভালো থাকবেন। আ আপনাদের নতুন বছরের সময়টা সুন্দর যাক। আ আম সবাই সুস্থ থাকবেন এই আশা করি।
That's all.
হুম,
Okay,
ইয়া
no issues. No issues. Well, my dear friends, now this was the small talk with Miss Rifat Binte Lutful. Lutful is her father's name, actually, I think, what she told me in pre-talk. So, दोस्तों हम आपके साथ बहुत सारे ऐसे एपिसोड्स लेके आएंगे जहाँ पे जो इंस्पिरेशनल टेल्स होंगी, कैसे हमारे अपने साउथ एशिया के लोगों ने आपको प्राउड फील करवाया है, एक मुकाम पर पहुंचे हैं, एक मंजिल पर पहुंचे हैं. They become the motivation and inspiration for the youngsters in other nations actually. तो आप भी कोशिश करते रहिए और मुझे लगता है कि आपके अंदर भी कोई ना कोई मिस रिफत छुपी हुई होगी. There must be Miss Rifat inside you also, the young girls I am talking to in Bangladesh, and you can also try to reach there in the bigger universities and make your name for everything. Rather you should be proud of yourself and your universities and your country also, wherever you are. So thank you very much for being with us. रिफत बिनते लुत्फुल, आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया कि आपने वक्त निकाला, हमारे साथ आए और इस प्रोग्राम में जुड़े. हमें उम्मीद है कि आगे भी आप हमारे साथ आएंगे और हम आपसे बहुत सारी बातें करेंगे. दर्शक मित्रों, हम आपसे लेंगे विदा और शुक्रिया करेंगे आपका अदा कि आप हमारे साथ बने रहे इस प्रोग्राम में. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद. थैंक यू वेरी मच एवरीबॉडी. थैंक यू मिस रिफत फॉर कमिंग हियर ऑन अवर शो. गॉड ब्लेस यू एंड
Thank you so
गुड
much.
नाइट.